Hey everybody, Steve G here for Chef Knives to Go with another quick look product review, and this time we are looking at the Moritaka Awagami Super Gyuto 240mm knife. This is a classic line of knives that have been around for quite a while. Chef Knives to Go's had them for several, quite a number of years. They're a classic for a reason. They're a very, very good knife and a continuous, good seller, again, for very good reasons. So let's dive into this one. The composition is all reactive. There's no stainless here except for the tang, which is a nice feature. We'll talk about that. Awagami Blue Paper Super Reactive High Carbon Steel is the core steel. Cladding is soft iron over that Awagami Super. Weight on this particular one, these can vary a little bit, but this one's 175 grams or 6.2 ounces. One of the characteristics of Moritaka is they take their heat treat pretty darn high, so it's in the 64 to 65 range, which means you're going to get a lot of edge retention out of this Awagami Super, albeit with a little bit more work to sharpen it, and you got to be a little bit more careful with how you use the blade because you can get a little chipping. There's always a trade-off, so the higher hardness will be a little more prone to chipping if you're not careful. But you'll get edge retention out of it with a little more work on sharpening. But if you've got good fast-cutting stones, it's not that bad at all. The handles, just good basic octagonal, what's known as magnolia wood or her wood, with a black buffalo horn ferrule on it. Nice fit and finish to that. Just pretty standard handle. Really well done job gluing that or sealing that up. The handle, they weld a stainless tang onto these, which is nice because if you do get moisture into the handle, it's not going to rust. So you can see that's the variance in the color if you wonder why that is. That's one of the things they do. Edge length on this one's right at the money of 240mm, about 9.5 inches. Overall length's about 15.3 inches or about 390mm. And then thickness-wise, these typically are a little thicker coming out of the handle where that tang comes in, and then they start to thin out a little bit. This one I got about 3.3mm. And then about halfway down, I got about 2.3. And you don't have a lot of taper to the thickness. It pretty much holds most of that until you get to the grind. These don't have a really tall grind. In other words, it starts pretty low down on the blade, so it's a little more wedge-shaped. It kind of thins out quickly, I'll put it that way. But the very tip there is nice and skinny, although it's not too gradual. It kind of thickens up quickly. And then they're pretty thin at the edge, but again, it thickens up quickly. So these are, not going to just ghost through product, but the trade-off is it's going to part the seas, if you will, on ingredients. So you're going to get good food separation here and probably pretty good food release as well, reasonably good food release. Height, about 47.65 on this particular sample. They've got a little bit of a back sweep to the heel of the knife. Pretty good spot there for your fingers on a pinch grip. This is a very light handle with the wood, so your balance point's going to be fairly far forward. If you were to do a custom handle on this, it's a little heavier. That would bring your balance point back, and I know Chef Knives to Go does offer some of these with custom handles on them with instead of the basic handle. So if you say, yeah, I like that, but the balance point's too far forward, look at one of the ones with a heavier handle. That'll bring that balance point back for you. So in this particular one, my balance points are right about there. Pinch grip wise for me, it's back here. So if you like the blade forward bias to the balance, you're set. If you want it to be a little more nimble, neutral, then you want to get a handle that's a little bit heavier than that. Okay, beauty shot for our camera here. So this has embossed kanji on the left side of the blade. You can see horizontal marks on the finish. This is known as a kudauchi or blacksmith type finish on it. And then here's your grind, here's your core steel peeking out there. It's the demarcation line is fairly faint even in person, but it is there. You can kind of catch that right there. Here's the left side of the blade. Finish-wise, they've relieved the corners of the spine a bit, and they've also done some work to the choil here, so it's comfortable out of the box. This had a nice out-of-the-box edge on it. You can definitely get it sharper, but has a nice out-of-the-box edge. Excuse me. I'll give it a 7 out of 10 on my scale. It's nicely done. Let's see. Cutting board. All right. Here is our edge profile. So it's a really smooth curve to it. Our camera doesn't like that too much. Get it to focus a little bit better. There we go. So this has a pretty just gentle curve. It's very smooth. It floats into a little bit of a stop at the heel. If there's any flattish area, it's back on this part here. The tip, this one you might need to upsweep the tip just a little bit if you want to sharpen it and upsweep it. I'm digging in pretty low, about right there. But if you were to upsweep that tip last couple of millimeters just a little bit when you sharpen it, you could get a higher rock on it. So it'll rock nice, but just with this tip, it's not, I get about right in there. So it's not going to rock real high, but you could tweak that on the tip if you wanted to when you sharpen it. So if you're looking for a classic that has really good edge retention, generally good all-around characteristics people have used for years, this is a safe choice. This is the Moritaka Origami Super Gyuto 2 40mm knife from Chef Knives To Go.